Coach, great to have you back on BYU Sports Nation. We just recently spoke with your quarterback, Josh Hoover, and I was telling him, I see TCU in 10th place, and I think, wasn't it 2 years ago TCU was picked to finish 9th in the league, and then you played in the national championship game? I feel like people are sleeping on TCU a little bit.
Yeah, well, if you saw us play last year, I don't blame anybody. We didn't play particularly well last year, and so I think that's probably a little bit of carryover from that.
In talking with some of your players, it is evident that the way last year went did not sit well with them, and that has been motivation. How much have you seen that heading into this year?
Yeah, I think it's a different mentality, different mindset with this team maybe than we had last year. I think, you have that success in 22 and you have the bad year in 23, and the guys that have been there for both saw the difference, and I think they know, what it takes to have that kind of team like we did in 22, and, don't want to make some of the mistakes we made in 23. So, they're highly motivated. The guys have worked incredibly hard. They've really done a nice job of building a culture that they're proud of and they like. And so it's been a fun ride up to this point, and looking forward to the season getting started.
10 teams 2 years ago in the conference, 14 last year, now 16. It's just the world we live in college football. But what do you anticipate will be the biggest change or difference as you enter yet another new look Big 12?
Yeah, I think just, waiting to see, who's going to become the team in the league. I think that's you look at the history of the Big 12, and, Oklahoma dominated the league for so long. I think won 17 Big 12 championships in like 20 years or something. I mean, just crazy.
Wild.
Yeah, and so, I think there's probably 6 or 8 teams that feel like they can be that team. I think we're one of those teams that feels that way. There's a bunch of them that are here that feel that way. But it's going to be very competitive. There'll be a lot of parity. The league is very interesting. We do studies in the offseason and look at what wins and loses ball games. And, this league is a one-possession league. There's so many games that come down to one possession. And then the top teams in the league play even more one-possession games. And so it's just it's a battle week in, week out. There's not a lot of margin for error. You got to play at a really high level. You got to be good at the things that allow you to win games, third downs and red zone offense and defense and explosive plays and all the things that make a difference, turnovers, obviously. Those are all things that we were really good at in 22, really bad at in 23.
It's notable that you bring up that possession number because, again, your quarterback, Josh Hoover, said, I need to be better taking care of the ball.
Yeah, that's where it starts. I mean, you look at us and our statistics are staggering when it comes to when we win the turnover battle or we're even. I mean, I think we're 17, 18, and 1, something like that in the last 2 years. And so, when we do that, it gives us a chance to win. And I think that's an easy lesson for your players to understand and to teach. And we've got to do a great job of teaching them how to do it.
You're bringing a new defensive coordinator for this team, so let's talk defense. What do you want and what do you envision that side of the ball looking like this year?
Yeah, I want us to be aggressive. I want us to create havoc, on offenses. I think that's where it starts. Your ability to pressure the quarterback is going to be so important, especially in this league moving forward. And, we got to get as many good athletes on the field as we can. I think moving to the 4-down defense allows us to improve our athleticism. I think it helps us a little bit when it comes to recruiting. I think we can recruit and develop some really elite level pass rushers, and that's going to be important. And those are all areas we weren't very good at last year. We didn't turn the ball over defensively. We just didn't get a lot of turnovers, and so we've got to do a better job of doing that. And the way you do it is pressuring the quarterback and making him make bad decisions, and put him in havoc and create havoc defensively. And we've got to do a better job doing it.
Which aspect of the game are you most confident in at this point with this specific TCU team?
Well, I think doing the little things right that it takes to win. I think that's the area that we have to improve in. I think that's the area that we paid a tremendous amount of attention to as a coaching staff, and then through spring ball and as we get into fall camp. Just understanding the minute differences that determine winning and losing, and then how do you address those things? Everybody talks about not turning the ball over. What does that look like? What does that mean? How do you do that? And so we've got to do a great job of teaching our players those things, and making sure that they have that kind of mentality about, look, when you turn the ball over, it's creates all kinds of issues for you. And when you can create a turnover defensively, it does all kinds of things to change the game for you. And so it's a big deal, and we've got to be good at it.
Sometimes it is that simple, right?
It is, and it is. But I mean, it's crazy that what a difference it makes. I mean, it makes all the difference in the world between winning and losing. And people talk about so many different things in football, and really, you can almost always just look at that one statistic and tell who's had a good team and who's going to have a good team.
Transfers play such an important role in collegiate athletics these days, and I want to focus on your offensive line. You bring in a lot of transfers at that position specifically.
Yeah, we did.
Any concern that it may take some time for that obviously very important position to gel?
Yeah, the good thing is we got almost all of them there in the spring. We had one summer addition, but, last year we had a lot of guys that we got in the summer from the transfer portal, and we never felt like we got those guys really caught up in our program. I don't think we ever got them adapted to our culture, our standard of doing things. And so we were able to get those guys in January, and it created a tremendous amount of competition for the returning players in our offensive line. And now they're competing against these guys, and I think it brought out the best in everybody, and the group is really gelled. I like the guys. They like each other. They have each other's back. They're competing for time, but they really enjoy being around each other. It's just a different feeling with that group. And, it's a group that I think is a very mentally tough and physically tough group. And to me, if you're not tough up front, you're not going to have a very tough football team. And I like the toughness. I love the mentality of those guys.
The 2022 Big 12 Coach of the Year, Sonny Dykes from TCU, is on BYU Sports Nation. We've been talking about the player ratings and EA Sports.
Yeah.
We should have coaches' ratings, Coach.
I'm glad we don't. Based on that.
Yeah, okay. So let's have some fun with it. If you could dress yourself in the game, what would you be wearing when you run out for the first game in the video game style?
Probably nothing like I'm wearing that I'm actually going to be wearing. I'll take a Bill Belichick, cut off sweatshirt.
Cut off hoodie,
yeah, cut off hoodie. That'd be good. Yeah, stick me in one of those.
Hey, we'll go tell him. Put him in a cut off sweatshirt.
Make sure you're comfortable on the sidelines, right?
Exactly. Yeah, comfort before practicality, I guess. Right?